During the last 2 years, I have dedicated myself to understand, attend, and heal each one of my invisible wounds, at least the ones I have been able to see, identify, and accept with compassion. And believe me, I'm still growing, still healing. And to be able to do this, to tell my story, is a great relief for me because I know I can help someone. I know that if my wounds were visible, you could see the aftermath of everything I felt, of all the pain, courage, fear, frustration, and indignation I experienced. And yes, on the one hand, I was able to win the most unjust and desperate and attacking battle I have ever lived. But on the other hand, my soul and my passion for the arts were fading away. I confess I felt like I was dying inside. And even though my career and my digital platforms were growing, my gas was running out. And a big stop was approaching my life. That pause I always deserved, but never gave myself. By September 1st, 2017, I was already settled in Los Angeles, California, a city I always dreamed of living in. I wanted to run away from danger, Miami, to run away from that story and all the injustices I lived through, to get away from so many people who, in one way or another, from their conscious or unconscious acts, hit my dignity. I arrived in Los Angeles very motivated, eager to start over. But soon, those desires disappeared, and many fears became present. My mind didn't stop. I felt watched, persecuted. I was even afraid to say where I was. I no longer had clarity. My self-esteem was very low. And when I tried to create and connect with art, many sabotaging thoughts would come to me, interrupting any creative process and leaving me with great frustration and insecurity. I swear I longed to push a button and erase my mind. That's the only thing I wanted. All this was happening while wonderful opportunities were knocking at my door, but neither attending red carpets of blockbuster movies in Hollywood, nor hearing Robert Downey Jr. up close, nor the virality of my content in virtual reality and other platforms, nor doing a mega tour in Portugal where surprisingly my content also went viral. Not even with all that, I could feel fully well. And it is crazy how neither living in the city of your dreams, nor having the recognition we sometimes want, nor earning the money we desire, we can escape the invisible wounds. In spite of everything, I was hiding very well what was happening to me. And although a new path was opening up for me, my mind and my self-esteem were not ready for all of this. I needed to know what was happening to me, why I wasn't the same. Well, that no matter how hard I tried to run away from my past, it came with me. My nervous system had been strongly impacted, and my body was telling me something, but I didn't understand it. When I stopped to listen to it, I understood that it was shouting at me everything that I had kept silent and endured. Thus began in me a series of illnesses and a terrible difficulty in concentrating. Then I began to take note of everything that was going through my mind. I began to study my darkness. I always heard about that thing they call trauma, but I didn't know how or when it would begin to manifest in me, nor did I know what it felt like to feel it. In the summer of 2018, after winning the last legal battle, the battlefield began within me. Despite already being able to let my guard down, my nerve system was badly affected and stuck in fight and hide mode. I couldn't control it. It was really hard. On the outside, I appeared to be very normal, yes, but on the inside, I had something like the battlefield from Mel Gibson's Braveheart movie. Just after winning the last battle for Scotland's freedom, I was wounded, beaten, and bruised, but alive. I was alive, and my mission continued. But that December 2018, after much sacrifice and all the legal battles that delayed my mission to get my brother out of Venezuela, I was finally able to fulfill that promise I had made to my dad before leaving. To watch over my brother and get them out of the country so he could have a better future, better quality of life, and new opportunities. Only this time, Dad wouldn't be accompanying us. And I made it. I managed to get my little brother out of the country. I was happy for him. It was a new beginning in his life. When I managed to get him out of Venezuela, I was proud of both of us. What I didn't know was that this joy would be very, very short-lived. On January 18, 2019, just days after leaving my brother in another country, I received the sad news of my mom's death in Venezuela. And whoa, this was a knockout that ended up taking me out of the boxing ring that has been my life for the last freaking 7 years. I never knew the causes of her death because where she lived, there were no doctors available to determine the cause of her death. I was her only daughter. Like any child, I suffered her absence. Yet in my heart, there was no room for resentment. I knew the situation with her was special. It is a story that someday I will have the courage to tell. In spite of everything, since I started working when I was 16 years old, I had the intention of being there for her food, for her health. Even though we had no communication and no good relationship, I always hoped that things between us would be different. Her departure increased a huge emptiness that already existed in me, if I was already fantasizing with the idea of taking my own life before. Now the question was already setting in. What would happen if I did? I was tired. Sometimes life hits us so hard and we don't understand why. The loss of my dad, an abusive and violent relationship with a narcissistic psychopath who wouldn't let me have a healthy grief, all the job attacks, all the legal battles, all the difficulties of being an immigrant, all the misogyny in the industry, plus the loss of my mom. It was already too much on my plate. I had many self-destructive behaviors, obsessive-compulsive disorders, uncontrolled acne, terrible hair loss, respiratory illnesses, And as I mentioned to you at the beginning, I was developing a disease that had cancer as my ultimate destination. Meanwhile, influencer friends called me and told me, "Hey Magga, don't disconnect from social media, we all have problems." That is when I understood that only I could understand the battles I was going through. My body and brain were severely affected. That is why I wish with all my heart that the world knows the catastrophic damage that a human being can go through because of the unconsciousness or personality disorder of someone else. If a toxic relationship, family, romantic, professional, school impacted your life with violence, betrayal, suffering, and disappointment, and maybe you have denied it out of fear, shame, or pride, it is time to find out if it still hurts. Click the link in the description. Before going through all this, I was a different person. I was cheerful, active, very smiley, lively, socialized a lot, and self-confident. When everything exploded to the point that I no longer felt in control of myself, I let go of my armor and went into hiding. I withdrew from social media and the world. I couldn't pretend anymore. I knew I owed myself a break and my body forced me to stop. I never listened to my emotions. I never validated them. I never practiced the habit of embracing myself, of understanding myself, of crying for long hours to heal, of regaining my power and self-worth, of telling myself in the mirror, "I love you and I forgive you." I went through months of depressive episodes. I felt that my life didn't make so much sense. Psychologically, I had gone through strong traumatic moments that made me think that the problem was me and that I had to finish with the problem, with me. I felt a deep pain, deep inside that had me in a hole from which I couldn't see a way out. I tried to go to psychologists, but my ego made me believe that I didn't need help. I didn't want to take off that armor we put on in times of war, that so-called pride. Yes, it was my pride that didn't want to look at those invisible wounds and didn't want to look at that dark corner of the closet. In the meantime, I appeared to have a strength that had been exhausted long ago, and that was what kept me where I was, in a hole. Until one day, I opened my eyes and felt something unexplainable inside me. I put my hand on my chest and burst into tears. I ran to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, and saw that dreamy, happy, broken, and shattered girl. I looked at her and said straight into her eyes, "You didn't ask me to go through this chaos. You didn't ask me for all this pain. And I know life hasn't been easy for us. I know it has hurt. I had a very strong desire not to feel that pain anymore, not to feel any more fear, any more depression." And there I stood, looking at myself in the mirror and said to myself, "I'm not my past, nor my experiences. I'm not all the injustices I went through. I'm not. I am." There came a big aha moment. I understood that I am whatever I choose to be. I am light, I am empathy, I am love, I am compassion, I am creation. I spoke with that creative energy, the one that some call God, universe, goddess, infinite intelligence, and told her that if she gave me the will to live, I promised to use my life to help others, to be excited to be alive, to be excited to be better. I felt inside myself that I can be a light for someone else. And a thought came to me, a phrase that was verbalized without my control. I'm not alone. And there I understood. I said to myself, I know there must be a lot of people out there like me who have gone through situations such as the one I went through. So I deserve to live. My story deserves to be told. My story deserves to be heard. Someone out there can find strength in it. Someone out there may need me. At that moment, a light full of hope appeared and planted in me the possibility and desire to help, to educate, to inspire, to motivate, and facilitate transformation in other people's lives. Just at that moment, the desire was born in me to give strength to those who have lost everything but still have the most valuable thing left: life. A life full of possibilities to achieve many dreams. I remember with tears in my eyes telling that girl I saw in the mirror, I want to transform your life. I want to heal your wounds. You deserve that I heal your wounds. From that moment on, I made up my mind that as long as I breathe, I had to be willing to drastically transform myself in order to be the woman I wanted to be. And that is what I did. I was radical, very radical. I had to transform my mind, my thoughts, my habits, my routines, reprogram myself, and integrate each one of my emotions. I had to change my life. I started looking for mentors, and some formidable ones came into my life. Louise Hay, Shiv Agam, Wayne Dyer, Joe Dispenza, Vincent van der Kolk, Deepak Chopra, Gary Zukav. I began a rigorous regimen of psychological therapy. I began to go deep into daily meditation and to practice breathing exercise that helped me to be in this wonderful present moment. I needed to quiet my mind and become more spirit, to connect with my true self, that almighty self that lives within me and within you. I needed to connect with my true essence, allowing myself to be who I already am. The time had come to recover my voice, to be the best of me and to be my most authentic version. And for that, I needed to strip myself of all the labels that society placed on us and deeply understand that I'm neither the dancer, nor the actress, nor my number of followers. I am a human being who feels, who has emotions, who dreams of a better world, where there is less violence, less ego, and more love. These experiences led me to understand that there will always be times that test our faith. Every difficulty, every fall, every disappointment holds the gift for an opportunity. We just need to find it. I learned that what is a difficult situation for me may not be for you. We all have our unique wounds, our unique battles, our unique and precious path of transformation and healing. Today, I'm a human being who has gone through many, many hardships, as you have probably gone through. I'm just like you, and I want you to know that the world needs you. The world needs us. I hope my story brings some light to your path, and I embrace you and honor each of your battles. Thank you. Thank you so much for this precious moment you give me, for lending me your ears and opening your heart to me. Today, I feel joy to break the chains of silence, to release the truth and continue healing. For me, for other women who suffer or have suffered what I have suffered. Today, I'm no longer afraid. Today, I feel firm. Today, I feel powerful, full of health and life. Today, my wounds are visible. The time has come to undress your soul. If you have gone through unfair, toxic, abusive circumstances due to narcissistic abuse, I would like to help you recognize and validate those circumstances and emotions. Go to the link in the description, maggalife.com/liberation, and get your masterclass and workbook. It's free. With love, Magdiel.